Well, howdy, howdy, folks. Welcome to the Galloping Goat Show. I'm your host, Cowboy Max. And on my show, my goats and I travel around the community to find the goats in our area. No, I don't mean the bad type of goats. I mean the GOATs, the greatest of all times. And I'm doing these local small business editions, and those folks are goats. They are the greatest of all times in our area for our local economy. And I've got one of them on our show today. It is Margot Cravens with Venom Donut. Margot, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm excited to be talking about donuts because I should weigh 500 pounds because I love donuts.
Hey, me too.
Donuts and cookies and that kind of stuff. I can't deny myself the pleasures, especially right now. But I just love, before we get into this, I just want to say that Rebel Donut is one of these local eateries, if you will, that I think is just so neat because the uniqueness of the product that you produce is awesome. You know, I follow you on Instagram, and you're always pumping out these new donuts and new donut flavors and designs. And it's like if an alien were to fly by tomorrow, you've got alien donuts that are coming out, and balloon donuts and Easter donut. It's awesome. So I'm so glad to have you on here. Can you just tell me a little bit, just go in and tell me what is Rebel Donut?
Absolutely. So Rebel Donut is a locally owned company. We are here local to the Albuquerque area. Obviously, we're woman owned, and we make everything from scratch, which is why we can do those great things that you just mentioned. We don't have big machines in the back. We have people. So I like to hashtag a lot that, it's made by humans. Every single donut we make is hand rolled and hand cut, hand dipped, hand sprinkled, hand drizzled, which is why we can make and we can adjust our menu so quickly. We sometimes have different things in the morning to the afternoon. The locations make different things based on what's going on, and we can easily, switch up what we're doing. But it is why we take a little longer sometimes to produce things, because everything is handmade. We don't have all those big commercial equipment that some of our competitors have, but we put a lot of love into every single donut.
Well, every donut is unique, even if it's, I love the Fruity Pebble donuts too. And you go and I really like the fact I'm looking at, there's a tray of Fruity Pebble donuts sitting there. Not one donut looks exactly like the other one. And for me, I think, man, that is cool because that's a custom, it's not just this boilerplate thing that's pumped out all the time. It makes it more authentic. It makes me feel connected to my donut.
Yeah. You get to pick the one you really want. The one that was made for you. Yeah, it is fun, and it's right what you said. Even though, the tray might be the same flavored donut, every single one of them is going to look different, and we can't put out perfect donuts because, they're all individual. They're all different.
Well, I want to talk about, you're hiring people, and I see that on your Instagram, and I want to talk about that. But you mentioned something a little earlier, that your donuts are made by people, not by machines.
Exactly.
Do you tell me about the makeup of your staff that's there? Are they called bakers, or what do you call your folks that are making the donuts?
So, the technical term are they're team members, but we kind of call them, the donut elves, since we come in at the wee hours of the night to make the donut. So there are donut elves, and, our managers are our donut whisperers because they've got to transform everything. We're always looking for creative people, and, if you have a culinary background, that's fantastic, but we can teach anybody our methods. It's really something that we can teach other people, as long as what we really strive for is people with a great attitude, people who are committed and punctual and, responsible and are willing to learn, because anybody can push a button on a donut machine and they'll all look the same. But, we really need people who are invested in making the donuts, because it is very time consuming. It is much more work than I think people anticipate when they first start here, because what you see as a customer is we pour coffee and we pull donuts out of the case, but every single donut had to be made by somebody. So I think that's what people don't really understand until they get to see the kitchen and all the work that goes into every single donut. But, like I said, we have such a wide variety of people with so many different backgrounds, and as long as you're teachable, we can help you out.
I love this on your post that you had that you're hiring. You say tattoos, piercings, strange colored hair are all fine by us as long as they're attached to an exceptional human being. I think
That's exactly right.
I think it's fantastic because
Yeah.
that's kind of the way it is. I mean, we don't judge the books by their covers because inside there, we can have some real gems. It's
Of course, and that's, just like our donuts, all of our staff are different. And, I don't want cookie cutter, everybody looking the same. And it's okay. I like people to bring their personality to work and to be able to show that. And it doesn't matter what color hair you have because it doesn't affect the quality of a person you are.
absolutely. Well, I know you've got a big day, and we're going to talk about that. You got a big day coming up. Before we get into that, can you give me what it's like? You say the donut elves and donut whisperers come in early in the morning. What time do they come in?
So when we open back up, we're going to have abbreviated hours. I know we'll talk about that, but so before this all chaos and we close, well, I'll just kind of use that since right now we're kind of in limbo. When we were open from 6:30 to 6 during the week and 7 to 4 on the weekend, we have night fryers that come in at midnight, sometimes as early as 10 p.m., depending on we call it a drop list because we drop the donuts into the oil. And then we have people coming in as early as 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7, 8, 9, 11. We just stagger the shifts so that we have enough coverage throughout the whole day. And then our closers generally come in at 11 or 12, and they're there until about 6 or 6:30. We close up the shop, and then we start over again.
Wow.
There's people in the building about 19 hours a day, I figure.
Unbelievable. Just, you would think this is just a donut and it wouldn't take that much, but there is a lot that goes behind it.
There is. There's a lot of moving parts to get each donut to be edible.
Man, I'm so glad you do that. So in a normal scenario before all the pandemic happens, tell me, do you have a stock? You said you have a drop list. We're dropping donuts into the fryer. Is this right?
The fryer oil. Yeah, donuts are fried. Yep.
Is it kind of like an inventory thing? You know how many Fruity Pebble donuts you have that are fresh and still ready to go. So now we need some more maple bacon donuts. Or is that how you're doing it?
So from start to finish, to get like a cake donut from ingredients to the case is approximately a 40-minute time span. A raised donut, the yeast ones that are fluffy, is about a 2 to 2.5 hour process to get it from raw ingredients to edible. So we kind of have to, we take, last year's or last week's, or if it's a big holiday, we take years past production, and then we try to anticipate what we're going to need. So we start the night with a drop list where we drop everything that we're going to need, let's say in the first 2 to 3 hours of the morning. And then we kind of look and try to anticipate, okay, are we really busy today? Is school out? Are more people out, with their family? Is it going to be a big holiday? Then we know that we're going to have to anticipate and make so much more. So we make the donuts, and we call them naked donuts because they're not decorated yet. So we have the naked donuts on trays, and then we tray specifically, and we decorate an X number of donuts depending on the day to what's going to go into the case so that we have some back stock, and then we leave some naked to decorate on demand. And as we run through those, we start the process completely over again and start dropping more donuts and decorating.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a process. My mind is blown right now. I can really relate to the past production numbers of knowing on holidays and dates and things like that of what should be your relative ballpark numbers, and to have that kind of baseline to go from has got to be critical to be successful in what's going to happen that day.
Absolutely. And sometimes even with it being, a holiday, a Friday versus a Wednesday affects, the traffic that we have coming in. And sometimes it's just a random day and we make what we anticipate, what we've been making on, say, a Tuesday for weeks on end. And all of a sudden we have a rush and we're scrambling and we have to just explain to people, I'm so sorry, we make these by hand and there's more coming out. But, we do what we can do. And then sometimes we just overshoot and we have so many donuts left, but We donate all of our donuts at the end of the day to local charities, local missions, nonprofits, schools, places that request them for volunteers. We do lots of fundraisers. We try to do at least one a month where we make a custom donut for a group and we promote it, they promote it, we sell the donut, and the proceeds of that donut go back to the organization. So we try to do one of those a month. We were going to do the World Down Syndrome Day, but it was the weekend that we closed up. So they're rescheduling, so we'll do that in the fall for them. So our donuts don't go to waste. We never want them to be thrown away. We always say we want them to meet their donut destiny and be eaten. So we try to get them to good places. So, anybody watching this, if you want to, request a donation, we have donation forms available. Look out on our website. We, it's an as needed basis and as much as we can do. And we try to do what we can to give back to the community. So.
What a wonderful thing. So there's kind of two parts to that I think are really great. Is I'm assuming that if I come in on a Tuesday, I'm not going to have any donuts that were on the rack on Monday. Is that?
Oh no, we don't sell day-old donuts. Whatever is left in the case at the end of the day, we count, we track so that we can adjust our drop list if we need be, or so we can try to figure out why we had so much. And then we have standing orders with some homeless shelters and some churches that give out to the needy, that they come in certain specific days of the week, and then we fill requests as much as we can. We can't get to all of them, obviously, and these donuts are not to be resold because we just want to give them to somebody that needs them or that they can use them in the community. So no, we never sell day-old donuts ever. That's just blasphemy.
That's wonderful for us out there. Okay, let's get down into the nitty-gritty of this. You closed your doors a couple weeks ago. Is that right? When did you close?
May the 18th was the last day we were open for business.
Okay.
No, March the 18th. Sorry, March the 18th was the last day we were open.
March
yes.
18th.
March the 18th.
Now it looks like this is a voluntary close that you did.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me why you chose that you needed to close at that time.
Sure. So, as a food service business, we are considered an essential business. We could have stayed open. Some people would say that donuts aren't essential. Some people would say they're absolutely essential. Yeah. I was concerned because there wasn't very much information out yet. So I was concerned for our employees. I was concerned for our customers and our community. And I wanted to give everybody a break to be able to stay home and quarantine with their family until we knew a little more about what was going on. Now that, other states are opening up and being a small business, having to weigh whether we stay closed or open back up was really hard for me. But it's time for us to get back to making donuts.
As I talk to small businesses, and I know this from ours as well, we're all different. We can handle a certain amount of closed time. And you don't have to go into the details, but did you kind of reach that? Did you reach that cap where like we just have got to get donuts out there? We can't go on any longer like this.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it boils down to is I had to kind of map it out and figure out how much more, we could bear without opening back up. And it's not necessarily that, people are saying the hashtag people over profits. It's not necessarily profits. It's just staying in business and not being bankrupt at the end of this. And
right.
I think that's a really, really hard thing to do. And it was really hard for me to have to make that decision and just pick a date to start opening up. And, but yeah, that is basically what it boiled down to is at what point do I have to open back up to be able to just remain in business?
Well, and I think that's a struggle that the general public, I would say, doesn't quite have a grasp of, when we start to talk about people over profits, most small businesses right now are just trying to barely break even if they can. Or just stop the hemorrhaging as much as possible to prolong our ability to get back in the game. And that's a struggle, I think, that small business owners and the public at the same time trying to understand that together. I think it's commendable that you were able to close and that you did. And for the sheer sake of your employees and being able to take some time to grasp the situation, to be comfortable with going to work. You know, I think every day I'm fortunate in the fact that my work right now is me going out and tending to my goats and my livestock and those type of things, and they're okay with whatever's going on. And but for so many like you in the service industry, that it depends on people being there every day, handing and serving and doing those things. Trying to be comfortable with the situation is critical. And what a brave and bold move to go ahead and to close down on your part. But what an exciting situation right now. To me, it feels like almost we have grand reopenings, coming up. It's exciting to say, when I saw that your post on Instagram says, hey, we're opening up Friday, May 1st, and that's an exciting time. So tell me about your feelings right now about getting open again.
I'm excited. I'm a little scared. I'm not going to lie. There's just so much unknown, and we've got to do the best with what we can. We're going to, instead of having people coming into the stores, we're going to do a walk-up window. We've got plexiglass put up. We're going to mark down, for people to stay 6 feet apart. We're going to do curbside where people can call in orders and we'll run them out to their cars. We always take pre-orders, and we always really encourage them, especially for anybody that wants larger orders, to guarantee they get what they want. Since they are handmade, we don't want, to show up and say, oh, they don't have my favorite kind. Well, you can always pre-order them. You can always call us ahead of time. Same day is sometimes difficult. We're going to do the best we can in the current situation that we have. But if you want a very specific donut that we may or may not have, I encourage people to call the day before, because more likely than not, we can make it for them. We are getting masks for all of our employees. Obviously, we've already got gloves. We are a food service industry. We're just trying to do the absolute most that we can to keep people, our employees and customers safe. When we feel comfortable, we are going to reopen the lobby and still mark off, 6 feet apart. We've got plexiglass being put in at the register so that we have some sort of boundary between people. And we're just trying to figure out anything that we can do to make people feel comfortable and feel safe. And we're just doing the best we can. It's a lot to try to process and to try to get done and just keep up with.
Oh, you bet. I mean, this is the kind of unprecedented times and situations that, nobody knows exactly what needs to be done, but all you can do is the best that you can do with the information we have, and everybody goes from there and decides their level of risk and goes and does it. So you said we can call ahead. So we're going to go into Instagram, Facebook, look at Rebel Donut, hit your website, your numbers are going to be there. We can call, we can make orders, or just find out what donuts you're making for the following day. Is that right?
Yeah, we're gonna have a very limited menu to start out with the first few days. One of our biggest holidays is May the 4th, which is this coming Monday, which is Star Wars Day. Right. We generally do a dozen or more different characters. We're going to pare it down to 6 this time. Just, we don't know what the demand's going to be, and right now I don't want to overwhelm the staff. So I'm going to put out a menu of May the 4th donuts. I'm going to put out a menu, hopefully in the next day or two, of our what we're going to call the usual suspects that will be made every single day that you can anticipate having. That will be kind of a really pared down baseline. And some of the other things that are, kind of fun and kooky and different is going to be on either a special custom order, pre-order, or as we get open and feel more comfortable to get the staff making more and more different kinds, then we're going to do that. I'm going to try to have pictures of all the donuts put up so people waiting in line can see them. And then that way it's going to be harder since people can't walk up to the case anymore. And we're going to have them kind of behind so that there isn't any exposure to other people, just to the decorators to box them up. So we're just trying to figure out all the things that we need to get it done to be able to be, successful.
Well, I think that the precautions and the steps you're taking are going to be great. I'm so excited that you're going to be able to be open for your sake and for all the rest of us that are out there. Now, you have 2 locations. Tell us where they are.
Yep, we have a location on Wyoming, just north of Manal. And we have a location at Coors and Paseo, which is in the Target shopping center. We are south of Target, in the same shopping center, in the same parking lot.
Outstanding. Do you, we talked earlier before we started up, and it sounds like your response has been good via social media and wherever that people are excited, and you feel like there's some momentum, some excitement that's going to, that people are going to show up.
I hope so. Yeah, I have been astounded at the amount of support that we have had. I was just hoping we would get a few people coming in to be able to, you know, like you said, at least help us break even and be able to stay afloat. But the love and kindness and great, just all of the comments that we've had on Instagram and on Facebook have been amazing. And I really do appreciate the community. I appreciate Albuquerque and supporting small businesses. And I just can't wait to see everybody.
That is awesome. Now, one last thing that I saw on your Instagram post, you have an app now, right, where you can.
We do, yeah. So our app is it is either Android or on iOS, and it is Rebel Donut Rewards. It is tied to our reward point system. So if you already have one, if you're already a rewards member for Rebel, it is tied to the same phone number. So you need to just log in, accept the new, you know, terms and whatever, the terms and conditions, and then just download it, and you can see right then and there how many points you have, what the rewards that are coming up that you're building towards. You don't have to use the rewards as you meet one. You can save them and let them roll over to the next bigger reward. But there's also a great function on there that's called the wallet, where you can load your wallet and it is a virtual gift card. So that was a way that I put out for, you know, customers that were wanting to support the business while we were closed, and it was great. We did have people who participated in that, and I really appreciate all of you who did. We are able to use that, and you're able to use that wallet to be able to pay when you come into the store. We are trying to have it built so that people can order online on the app. The problem we run into is because we make everything from scratch and our menu varies daily, it is very difficult for us to have an on-demand order, just because we can't go in and update it minute by minute. If somebody comes in and buys out all of our, you know, Fruity Pebble ones, and then somebody places an order on the app, like I said, we have such a delayed time to make them if we don't have naked donuts right then and there. In the case, we would replace it with maybe a different flavor, but it's almost impossible unless we have somebody on that app updating it. So we're trying to talk to the people who made our app to see if we can make a generic one where it's something that's a baker's choice. And then, you know, you can put in what you would love to see in it, but we can't guarantee it. So look for that in the future. We're hoping to roll that out pretty soon. So I kind of stopped working on that for a few minutes, and we're into production mode right now.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the bottom line is you've got to make donuts. It doesn't matter if there's no donuts out there anyway. So
exactly.
I also saw that, you know, this is kind of something that could be good, especially now that in your reopening with the pickup sort of model that you've got going on. It's almost, I see a Venom almost like a cake donut. Is this a giant donut, like for a birthday party type thing that you do?
It is a giant donut. Yeah, that's something that I don't think we promote enough. So I'm going to kind of work on that. But it's an 18-inch donut. It is a raised donut that we make from scratch, and we roll out like all of our regular donuts. The consistency is a little bit between the raised and the cake donut because it's so big. And then we can decorate it in any way you want. We can make it look like a giant Homer donut, or we can draw a design on it and we don't have to cut the hole out of it, so it can be a flat surface. We've had people that want it filled, so we cut it in half horizontally, and then we just fill it and then put the top back on it and then cover it with the icing. But it'll feed about 20 people. It's a pretty good sized donut, and it's delicious.
Sounds delicious. It looks delicious.
Yeah, those are pre-order only. So anybody that's watching this, don't walk up and try to get a giant donut. Those are pre-order only.
You're definitely a pre-order. So fantastic. Yeah. Okay, so they're just going to go Instagram, Facebook, website. We'll find your number, call you up, order donuts for the next day, or order the big giant cake donut for the birthday party or whatever it is. And that's how you get a hold of their donuts. Or they're going to drive up to one of your 2 locations, and whatever they've got, because it's all delicious, whatever you've got on hand, they can pick up right there. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah. And I just encourage everybody who is calling, we don't necessarily have call waiting or a way to show that we have a busy line. So if people call and it just continues to ring, please know that we are not ignoring the phone. We just might be on the other line. So please just keep trying us back. We are anticipating having a lot of phone calls, so we're trying to staff up and get a person that is dedicated to answering phones only. So we should be able to kind of streamline that process.
Okay, tell me your hours, your days that you're going to be open and your hours starting on Friday.
So starting Friday, May 1st, we are going to be open from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at both locations, and that will be 7 days a week until further notice. I know there are people who are wanting me to open earlier for people on their way to work, and we will absolutely move our hours back a little bit earlier and a little bit later, depending on demand and depending on, closures and how many other businesses are open and traffic patterns. And it's just going to be kind of something that we play by ear, and we're going to adjust. And every time we make a change, I'm going to post it on Facebook, on Instagram, on our website, so rebeldonut.com or at rebeldonut on the other 2 social media sites.
That is fantastic. Margot, we wish you all the luck for your sake, for the rest of us out there, all of us donut consumers. It's an exciting time, and we're looking forward to it. And I hope your doors are packed. Well, I hope the drive-by is packed, and that things get back to normal very soon, and your doors and your lobby is packed with folks coming in there and getting donuts. Just save me some bacon and maple donuts, because that's my go-to right there.
Let me know when you're coming. We'll put your name on one.
That's fantastic. All right, so folks, thank you for joining us on the Gallop and Goat Show. I'm your host, Cowboy Max. Hey, until next time, be the goat. Go out to Rebel Donut and get some donuts. We'll see you next time.